equipment to help you find out the problem yourself and everything else you need to fix it right the first time. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Mike and Mike, presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm looking forward, among all our guests today, and there'll be many, to talking to Daryl Morey, 9:30 Eastern on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. We got into a long conversation yesterday about analytics and the use of numbers, and you're correct, Charge, that sometimes you can make numbers say whatever you want them to say. I understand that. I guess the reality is always somewhere in the middle, right? In my opinion, the analytics are significant, but they're not as significant as some people try and make them. They're also not nearly as insignificant as many people try to make them. One way or another, he is the king of numbers.
He is, and we had Mike Dunleavy on yesterday, and he really went into his use of analytics. That surprised me. I did not know that he was as in-depth as he was into the analytics.
Neither did I. I got to tell you, I remember Dunleavy as a player. I remember him as assistant coach. I remember him suiting up as an assistant coach to play in games. And then, of course, his head coaching. He told us yesterday, and I did not know, he worked on Wall Street in between those. Yeah. Between his playing and coaching careers. So he had that sort of mentality. He said that he hired IBM to do research into analytics before there were people doing it. Anyway, Daryl Morey will join us a little bit later this morning. Plus, most importantly, he's a Northwestern guy.
Well, he is.
So that's what really matters to me.
Of course it is.
All right, in a moment, a serious charge of media bias made by a member of the media, and he's right. But first, this story just came across. Adam Schefter just reported, and this is within the last 10 minutes, for those asking why the Patriots suspended 2 employees if those 2 did nothing wrong, as New England claims, Schefter is reporting the NFL asked the Patriots to suspend them prior to discipline being handed down, per a league source in New York. New England obliged with the NFL's request. That's the entirety of the reporting from Schefter. I'm going to say right now, I don't get it. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
If they would, the NFL asked the Patriots to suspend them prior to discipline being handed down because of what was in the report. So let's just go through this. The Wells report certainly makes it sound as though according to the Wells report, they were complicit. It is more probable than not that they were complicit in a scheme with quarterback Tom Brady to deflate the footballs against league rules. So they asked the Patriots to suspend them. If the Patriots' position then as now was that they did nothing wrong, the balls deflated naturally based upon the atmospheric conditions and the ideal gas law, even in the absence of knowing what the penalties were going to be, I don't understand why they would have complied.
I don't either.
With a league request to suspend these 2 guys.
I don't either. And then when the report came out and they got hammered the way they did, and Robert Kraft was very angry about it, I would have thought Robert Kraft would have brought that up because he didn't answer that question when Peter King asked him, and that question asked him that, and that question really hasn't been answered. And I thought if New England felt so wronged by this that they might have brought that up, because I gave my theory Friday when you weren't here that it's possible, because you hear different stories out there. Did New England suspend them and I made the comparison in Greeny. We've seen it time and time again when a college is going to get in trouble or looks like it's going to get in trouble, they self-impose some sanctions against them to try and then show the NCAA, look, we're kind of, spanking ourselves here, so don't be too hard on us. And thought maybe it was something like that until the penalty came out as strong as it did. And now, obviously New England is fighting back on that. But I'm with you. This seems odd to me. If the Patriots are standing as the way they are standing, I'm a little confused by that. So not going to lie.
We will have Peter King at 8 o'clock this morning. He'll be on in an hour and a half on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, and we'll get to ask him more questions about this. Again, he's the one who did the 50-minute interview with Kraft over the weekend. But Peter was on SportsCenter yesterday, and he offered again, in the piece, he said that Robert Kraft refused to answer the question why he suspended the 2 employees. And I believe in the piece that we read it on the air yesterday said that there were a variety of reasons that he refused to answer the question. But then Peter, gave some speculation on SportsCenter as to why it might have happened.
He said that he wasn't going to answer the question, and I think there's a variety of reasons, as he says, why he won't answer the question. He would not say anything. If you're asking me my opinion is that sometimes you throw witnesses overboard, or you throw employees overboard to try to save the ship. That's what I think the Patriots did. They said to the NFL, okay, we're going to get rid of these guys. That shows you that we're serious about eradicating what might have been a problem, but a problem that hasn't been proven, but what might have been a problem here. And if that is indeed why they did it, it certainly didn't pay off because they got the biggest sanction of any team in NFL history.
So that basically is what my theory was, right? And that's the same thing. It's like in college when you put sanctions on yourself, hoping the NCAA will not go as heavy on you, and that sounds problem. Like what they were saying there. Yeah.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. Here's the problem. Schools don't do that unless they acknowledge wrongdoing in the first place, right? Something happened here. These violations took place, and we're taking these steps to prevent them happening again as a show of good faith, whatever you're talking about. The Patriots' position is that nothing wrong happened here. Right. That's their position. That is incontrovertible. They are dug in the sand in that position. They released a however many page report of their own, Wells Report Context, last Thursday that said we didn't do anything wrong, and it's all because of the air.
I guess my point is, even in college, if you don't think you did something wrong, it's called you hedging your bet. And maybe the thought process for them was, if something were to have happened, possibly, if we hedge our bet, it was probably those two guys, and we're certainly not getting rid of Tom Brady, so we will do something with those two guys. That's all I can think.
I hear you. Just follow this. Hey, John, Jim, get in here. Yes, sir. You guys didn't do anything wrong. You're suspended. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. And this makes even less sense for me, quite honestly, to say that the league said to suspend the guys. I could have seen the only reason, as I said, to hedge your bet, to do that from the team side of it. But for the league to ask them to do that, that one seems odd to me.
Well, I understand the league. The league says these guys, the league has an independent report, however independent people may genuinely believe it to be, and however much people may now question it based only upon the fact that the Patriots came out swinging for the fences in trying to dispute every single thing in the report. But the league is handed a report by Ted Wells that says this guy Jastrzemski and this guy McNally did X, Y, and Z, and he's the deflator, and he's all this kind of stuff. And so they said, listen, these two guys are a problem, Robert. You got to get rid of them. And he says, okay, and he suspends them. And then the punishment comes down, and he says, wait a minute, this is the punishment that we expected.
Yeah.
Here's my extraordinary defense of everything here. We did not do anything wrong. And as a consequence of that, these two guys didn't do anything wrong. Something's missing.
Yeah.
There's something in all of this that's missing. Clearly, once again, to quote that legendary moment on Mike and Mike, there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I'm with you on that. I agree.
All right, we're Mike and Mike, presented by Progressive Insurance. You could save hundreds on your car, business,